Sup guys, it's your boy Justin, ripping off Richard C. Meyer yet again. Today's episode of Otaku Underground Radio Podcast, I'm going to give my top 10 Kamen Rider lists of Kamen Rider series I want to see get released in the West. This isn't the top 10 best Kamen Rider series because I haven't seen 10 Kamen Rider series. To this date, I've only completely watched Kamen Rider Dragon Knight and Kamen Rider Kuga. I mostly, because for people who don't know, for the longest time I wanted to watch Kamen Rider, but I've only been able to watch the movies and random episodes. It's not until now that we're starting to see Kamen Rider series getting released in the West with official subs, right? Unlike you Toku nerds, I don't know what websites to use to watch this shit. Yeah. Which we're gonna rant about the Toku nerds, but first I'm gonna list off what topics we're gonna be talking about. We're gonna briefly talk about the new James Bond 007 movie news. We're gonna talk about the Adam Baldwin. Alec Baldwin, not Adam Baldwin. I wrote Adam Baldwin, my mistake. The new Alec Baldwin news. The footage got leaked. I think Netflix might have released it, but the footage of the actual shooting from the Rush shooting where Alec Baldwin shot two people with a prop gun, right? Because somebody messed up and pulled a bullet, real ammunition with the prop ammunition, right? Which are blanks. Other news is I'm going to talk about my thoughts on current Tokusatsu podcast, the latest DC news, and last we'll talk about, the second last thing, I'll give my top 10 Kamen Rider series I want to get physical releases in the West, and then I'll reveal what series that we're considering to review next after my Ultraman X review, which will be this week. This podcast will probably come out after that, right? Because I only have 3 episodes to go. Oh yeah, so at the top, we'll do the top. Also, I want to talk about the She-Hulk and House of the Dragon. I am not going to review either She-Hulk or House of the Dragon. And even if I wanted to review those shows, I can't, which I probably wouldn't, because I would get most of the time when I try to review modern shows, I'll get less than 5 views or whatever. So it's what the fuck is the point, honestly? But I can't even review those shows because I have no way to watching them. And unrelated news, BitChute and Odyssey has been going down super hard on the people who upload movies and TV shows. So even the reaction channels, which is holy fuck. Even the reaction channels, they're going hard on. So it's holy. So I even if I wanted to, I can't. And stupid Netflix, because Netflix had the Game of Thrones on there for a while. So I thought, maybe House of the Dragon will be on Netflix, and it's it's not on Netflix. So probably only on HBO Max, which HBO Max might be not even be a thing anymore because Discovery has its own streaming site, so HBO Max might be done. Yeah. So first we're gonna talk about the my thoughts on latest Tokusatsu podcast, which I'm kind of a noob, but don't call me a noob when it comes to Tokusatsu, because when it comes to Tokusatsu, I mostly only for the longest time I mostly only watched some Power Ranger shit, and then Godzilla movies. It wasn't until the last decade or so that I started watching Kamen Rider. I started watching Ultraman shows, right? and I'll watch other shit too, like Metal Heroes and whatever. So now we're I don't know, me starting up Tokusatsu Thursdays again. This might be only like a summer and a spring thing, because in October and September and October I have big plans for the channel, and I might not even have like time to review Tokusatsu shows, right? But like, you know, since I am currently watching and reviewing Tokusatsu shows, I decided, hey, I'm going to look up and watch other people's shit to see, okay, what's the best and what's the worst Tokusatsu shows, right? Which, you know, for people who don't know what Tokusatsu shows are, Tokusatsu is basically live action special effects series and movies, right? So, like, you know, shit like Godzilla, you know, Japanese superhero shows like Ultraman, Super Sentai, which is Japanese Power Rangers, which Power Rangers were based off, and then Kamen Rider, right? So I'm watching. I go and watch some of these lists because, you know, lately when it comes to Tokusatsu stuff, I'm giving like, you know, 6.5, 7s. I can't just give good reviews for everything, right? Because I'm a critic, and, you know, I'm not one of those people who are like, oh, super positive. Like, if something sucks, I'm gonna say it sucks, okay? And I'm not just gonna be one of those people who like only review shit they like, right? Because I find that boring. It's like, why should I even bother to watch your shit if I know you're gonna give it a positive review anyway? And I'm mostly talking about like the shills and like people who basically writers who write books and then will review other books when really they're not really reviewing books. They're really just shilling other books from their agents' clients, or the same publisher or whatever. That kind of bullshit, which makes me not even want to become a writer, which is one of my like life goals that will never probably happen, because like I came up with this while I've been working. I daydream, right, and I came up with this awesome premise for a book series, which is like a combination of Dexter and Better Call Saul. It's like a dark crime comedy, and I don't want to. I don't want to like reveal the plot, but it's like, man, if it's like super funny and whatever, right? And it's like, dude, I can't fucking I would never get the fucking thing published because it's too the premise is somewhat offensive. Right? And it's like, goddamn, like the people will lose their shit, right? So it's like, fuck, man. Maybe Mark Millar's right, and like all this woke shit will go away and within 5 years, but I doubt it, especially living in Canada, right? Yeah, so like, yeah, I go to watch Tokusatsu podcasts, right? Because I want to know what are the bad series, what are the good series. Problem number one I have with a lot of these top 10 lists that people do, it's either Super Sentai or Kamen Rider, maybe some Ultraman. And it's like, for fuck's sakes, I'm a fucking noob! And I can name more than 3 fucking Tokusatsu series. Right? Even Garo wasn't even like... Garo, which is like a pretty popular show that they made like a bunch of anime series. They even like released it in the West, right? Ahead of Kamen Rider, right? And it's like, dude, even I, as a noob, when I don't really consider myself a noob, because I have been watching, I've been watching Godzilla movies all my life, and I've been watching Power Rangers movies all my life. And I like Ultraman, but it's because like, oh, I haven't watched as many series as some of these guys, even though I don't pirate shit, right? If it's online for free, I'll watch it. I'm not gonna lie, but only if it's like, you know, on like a YouTube or whatever, right? But I don't pirate shit, right? So yeah, that's problem. Problem number one is not enough, like not even Space Sheriff Gavon, which is like one of the most popular fucking like tokusatsu shows ever, right? And it's like considered like the best Metal Hero show, one of the best Metal Hero shows after like I think Metalder. I'm not sure, right? I'm still yeah. So yeah, that's problem number one. Problem number two. Problem number two is recency bias, right? Which if people don't know what recency bias is. Recency bias is when you like newer shit over old shit, right? A lot of these Toku podcasts, they do the top 10s, and they list newer shit and say, oh, the old stuff, a lot of the old stuff sucks, right? When, for fuck's sakes, like, even, like, if it wasn't for the old shit, you wouldn't have the new shit, because they built, like, the new shit is built upon the old shit. Do you not understand how this shit works, right? So it's like, holy fuck, man. And it's like, and like, that's one of the most retarded fucking things I ever heard, right? Is that like, oh, that like, for one, like, retro always wins. That's a fact of life. And two, like, a lot of newer shows today are a lot more kiddie than the older shit, have worse fucking acting, right? Too much CGI, and the biggest problem in modern tokusatsu is their fucking toy commercials, where even the equipment and the powers are like they're advertising cheap plasticky toys and trading cards or whatever, and it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, are you kidding me? I know everything's a toy commercial, right? But I don't mind if it's a toy commercial if you make, because like you have cool characters in your show, and then make toys out of that, right? And have like cool new forms and shit. That's cool, right? That's all right. But then it's like, oh, like it's not just enough to sell action figures of the characters, right? We need to sell the really plasticky belts, the little plasticky crappy gadgets, the trading cards that the characters have to use their superpowers, which is the dumbest fucking shit ever, right? Oh my god. And it's like, holy fuck. And people have the nerve to say that these fucking shows are better than the shit that was coming out in the 80s and the 90s, which is the 80s and the 90s is probably the best era of tokusatsu. I'm a fucking noob, and I fucking know this, right? Because you had because the people who made the tokusatsu shows in the 80s and 90s grew up with the 60s and 70s shit, and when they became adults, they're like, okay, I want to make, I'm an adult now, and I like the old tokusatsu shows, but like, they're too kiddie and stuff. Let's make them super dark and edgy. Which you got like, and what did you get from that shit? You got Kamen Rider Black, bitch. You got Mobile Police Jaiban, which is not super dark, but like there's dark shit in it, right? Yeah, so it's like, dude, like the fact that like people are like insane, dude. And then you have the cool, like, the Kamen Rider short films that was also made by the guy who made Kamen Rider Black, Keita Amiya, right? And even like the original Kamen Rider creator, Shotaro Isunomori, wanted like a more mature, wanted to make a more mature superhero, but because the shit was made for kids, he couldn't. So like he got his chance in the 80s when he did like worked on like Kamen Rider, Shin Kamen Rider was based off his idea, where like Kamen Rider was supposed to be like this like Hulk kind of character, Jekyll and Hyde character, where like it was like a body horror kind of thing, and like Keita Amiya directed it, right? I think he directed it. I could be wrong on that, but it totally looks like he did. Which I still need to. At some point, I'm going to review Shin Kamen Rider. It's that when I do this kind of show, when I did my podcast, it's like most of my shit I review is shit I haven't read or watched, right? Because that's the whole point of this channel. It's an excuse for me to consume the shit that I never got a chance to consume, right? The content, right? So that rant's basically over. But like and like it's just pissed me off that like I'll watch these tokusatsu podcasts talk shit about the old shit and suck the dick of the new shit, man. When it's like, dude, this new shit is way fucking worse than the 80s and 90s shit, right? And then they'll talk shit about the 70s shit too, not understanding like like a lot of these designs that you trash, the only problems were they were still like it was just proportions were the problem, right? They didn't know how to shrink shit. So when they had like they would design like these cool heads and helmets and whatever costumes, like they couldn't figure out how to make the shit smaller, right? Or proportionate, right? But yeah, like somebody was like, oh yeah, Kamen Rider Stronger's design was bad. It's like Kamen Rider Stronger, it has probably like besides from Sky Rider, right? It's one of the better designs of the like what was it called, the Showa era, whatever, like the first like generation of Kamen Rider. Like get the fuck out of here. Yeah, so that's enough for this topic. But yeah, the next topic is what was it? Oh yeah, the Adam Baldwin thing. Which at first, even though Alec Baldwin, I wrote Adam Baldwin by mistake, which is a completely different guy. And is one of his brothers Adam? I don't know. There's a Baldwin. Adam Baldwin, who is not related to the Baldwins, who is an actor. But yeah. So yeah, the Baldwin shooting. They released the they released the footage of the footage that was getting shot while during the Rust shooting, right? And like you could clearly see Alec Baldwin pulls out a revolver and pulls the trigger, and other people said it looks like the gun is cocked all the way, meaning how revolvers work is you have to pull the hammer, like not all revolvers but the older revolvers, you have to pull the hammer all the way, and so the trigger so it will shoot, right? Even half cocked is not enough to shoot the gun, right? It has to be pulled all the way. And at first I was kind of on Alec Baldwin's side, because he is an actor and he's like he's like a leftist, he's an anti-gun person, so it's like, okay, he probably doesn't know enough about guns. But like other people said, well, if you're gonna work with firearms, you should know how they work, right? Which is that is true. But it's the thing where my point still stands that, okay, what regardless of should he have known or whatever how guns worked, how did the fucking bullets get in a real bullet get in the gun? Okay, somebody snuck up, brought that to the set, and then there were talks about how the quartermaster, which is this chick, would take the prop guns, would take the prop guns and go shooting, right? With them, which prop guns are real guns. The only difference is they're supposed to be loaded with blanks, not real bullets. So somebody fucked the quartermaster, or somebody took the guns out shooting and left the real bullet in the gun, right? And for people who are like, well, he should have checked to see if the gun's loaded. How would he have known the difference between like a real bullet and like a prop, like a blank, right? Because a lot of the times the only real difference is the front, which with a revolver, especially old-timey revolver, you can only see the back. So he would have to like empty out the gun, right? Which with those old revolvers, takes a while. So he would waste like 5 minutes to, whatever, right? And that's kind of like the director. Like, that's the thing. Let's be real. It's the quartermaster, prop master's job to make sure, hey, that the props or whatever aren't loaded with real bullets. And she messed up, okay? And there was some news that the FBI put out or whatever, but I don't remember, and I don't care. But yeah, I think Alec Baldwin. I don't know. I don't think he'll go to jail, but I think he'll probably get a huge fine, especially since he was lying. He was lying and being unapologetic the whole fucking time. Right, this shit was going on. And because he said, oh, he didn't pull the trigger, the gun went off, and then like the fucking Rust people released the fucking footage, and it's like, no, he actually did pull the trigger. So he was lying nonstop, so he's fucked, and he's like already said, oh, I haven't been able, like that he lost like job opportunities because of this fucking thing. So his career might be fucked, but he's already like old man. So who kind of gives a shit, really? But well, obviously he cares. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's going to. And there's like the BitChute and Odyssey people have certain speculations about why this shit happened. And that apparently, the lady who died, what was she like? I can't remember because this shit's like old news. But like she was what, the DP or something, and her husband was related, had like dealings with a certain politician. So people think this is some kind of weird like, orchestrated thing, and I don't fucking know. People say that about everything. Like, people said that about the NH thing. That, you had the BitChute Odyssey people said, oh, NH, might have been suicided or whatever because of a movie she did in 2013 called Toxic Skies or some fucking shit. It's like, get the fuck out of here. That bullshit. Oh my god. Yeah. So yeah, next we'll talk about the latest DC news, which pissed me off. So there's news that Henry Cavill was supposed to be The Rock lied and told people that Henry Cavill was going to be in Black Adam, and because of that caused a whole shit show, right? And now there's talks that they're gonna shoot a cameo for Superman, but it looks like it might be another Shazam cameo where it's just a guy will be on. They won't. It'll be a guy in a suit, but you won't see the head, so it won't be Henry Cavill. And now there's fucking news that Henry Cavill won't return as Superman because, you know, well, the news at first was he has a role as Hyperion, which is like a Superman ripoff of Marvel's, right? And he was gonna appear in Loki season 2, which Loki season 1 was fucking garbage, total trash, right? Owen Wilson was the only saving grace of that show, and they killed him off. Spoiler alert. But it's like, at first I'm like, this news is bullshit. Henry Cavill can't be that butthurt and stupid, right? Well, now people are saying he signed a 3-movie picture deal with Marvel, and he's gonna play as a Hyperion. And it's like, if that's true, Henry Cavill, you're a fucking idiot. If that's fucking true, how butthurt could you be that they fired you as, you know, Superman, that you're gonna go to the competition and play a fucking Superman ripoff? Not even their best, most popular Superman ripoff, which is Sentry, right? If you left to go play Sentry, I would have been like, okay, at least Sentry's a good character. I like Hyperion, right? I like the Squadron Supreme, but like the Squadron Supreme is a complete fucking mess at Marvel. In some universes, in some comics, the Squadron Supreme are good guys. Some comics, the Squadron Supreme are villains, right? Marvel can't even decide what fucking like if the team should be bad guys, good guys. Who the fuck knows, right? So it's like you're gonna fucking, you're so fucking butthurt. And yeah, what they did to you was fucking bullshit. When Hamada was fucking running shit, yeah, that was fucking bullshit what they did to you, right? They sidelined you, and they were planning to replace you with, like, you know, with Supergirl, right? Not even a comic accurate Supergirl at that, right? But like you don't see fucking Ben Affleck running to fucking Marvel and like, hey, let me play Nighthawk. Fuck DC. Right? Holy fuck, man. If that's true, I lost fucking respect to you, man. Because there's no way they're gonna do like there's no way they're gonna do a Squadron Supreme fucking Squadron Supreme movies, right? And if they did, they would suck for the most part, right? Oh my god, it's just like, this is just, they would totally suck, man. They would. So yeah, I just think it's fucking dumb. And yeah. So if that shit is true, that he was so butthurt, it's like, god fucking. So that means that not only that if they want to bring back Superman, they're gonna have to recast him, and it's like, who the fuck, man? Henry Cavill's like the perfect Superman, really. Alright? I can't even think of another actor to replace him as. Fucking Armie Hammer? That fucking weirdo who wants to... I don't know. What was it? He liked to roleplay cannibalism or whatever with women. Which I always thought that guy was... I'm not making fun of him. I always thought that he was homosexual because he would play a lot of homosexuals in movies and TV shows, like Zachary Quinto, and he turned out to be gay. So I for the longest time I thought Armie Hammer was gay, but apparently he is super straight and he wants to eat women in role play scenarios, which is like, holy fuck. Which I still haven't seen that movie that Army Hammer was in with Timothée Chalamet, because someone told me that there's like a scene where like one of the dudes fucks a peach, comes in it, and the other guy takes it, but he takes it by him. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? I don't know. Is that shit? I've heard that from multiple people, so I'm like, fuck. No, no, I don't think I'm gonna watch Call Me by Your Name. Fuck. So yeah, I'm butthurt about that, but I don't know who would be a good Superman. I haven't a fucking clue. I mean, John Hamm, when he was John Hamm 20 years ago would have been a good Superman. Now he's too old. Kyle MacLachlan did the voice of Superman in Justice League New Frontier, which I'm going to review on the channel at some point. And he did a good job, but now he's like 60 years old, and he still wants to play Agent Cooper. And I'm like, God damn, you got to give the guy props. For like, yeah, I'll be geriatric as fuck. I don't care. This edited to make me look fast, which they did in season 3 of Twin Peaks, where there's more action scenes. Like old man Agent Cooper is more badass than he was in fucking 2 seasons of fucking Twin Peaks, man. Yeah. That scene, that fight scene with the dwarf assassin with the ice pick was fucking. He squeezes he squeezed the little guy's like hand and like karate chopped his fucking neck. Oh, that scene was fucking funny, right? Yeah. But yeah, so like the next topic, the James, I was right. The next James Bond will probably be a man, because Barbara Broccoli has been saying this for like a year, over like since No Time to Die, that no, the next James Bond will be a man, and nobody believed it, right? Well, we got confirmation that it's going to be a man, that he's going to be a man, but they're looking for a younger actor, which means nothing considering how old Daniel Craig was in the last movie. So the younger actor could be 45 for all we know, because like, holy fuck, Daniel Craig looks so fucking old in the last fucking movie. But some of the choices I've heard is like, obviously Idris Elba, The Rock, Tom Holland, and oh fuck, who was the other guy? I don't know. People who I would like to see, I felt Tom Hardy was one of the choices, which Tom Hardy is too big, too buff, alright, too thick for the role. He half a decade ago, or like 15 years ago, yeah, Tom Hardy would have been a good choice, but now he's yeah. So choices I would love, right, for James Bond is obviously Tom Middleton would be a good one. Maybe fix his hairline. Henry Cavill, even though I loved him in Napoleon Solo, in that Man from U.N.C.L.E. movie, they're obviously, like, Guy Ritchie doesn't like doing sequels, so we're probably never going to get, a sequel to Man from U.N.C.L.E. Which I love that Man from U.N.C.L.E. movie. Probably one of my favorite James Bond like movies. But we're never going to get a sequel, so fuck it. Have Henry Cavill, uh, Henry Cavill play James Bond, even though he was great as the yuppie American spy thief. He got a job as a spy because like he was a good thief during World War II. He would steal art and shit, and he was all a decent soldier. And so it's like, oh my god, I love the scene where like he gets drugged by the one chick from Tenet, and he's like he just like props down on the sofa, like you know, and puts his head on a pillow, and she's like, what are you doing? Last time I got drugged, I fell and almost cracked my fucking skull open. So yeah, I'm gonna lay down until the drug takes effect. You honestly think you're gonna survive? Survive? He's like, yeah, bitch. Like I said, I've been through this before. So do your worst. So, and then he wakes up. He wakes up, getting tortured by the German guy, and he's like, "Oh fuck, maybe I won't get out." But yeah, he gets saved by the Army Hammer, which is probably the main reason. You can't blame Army Hammer for them not going to be a Man from U.N.C.L.E. sequel because Guy Ritchie's the main fucking problem. All right. So yeah. Yeah, like apparently Warner people are talking about this because Warner Brothers made a deal with MGM like the other day, so it's for sure there's going to be a new James Bond movie, and it's going to happen. Some people say within 2 years, within 5 years. Who knows? But there will be a new James Bond movie, and he will be played by a man. So that's the good news, right? Okay. So before I get into the next topic, I was supposed to walk my dog like half an hour ago, so I'm gonna take a break. Sup? I'm back from walking my dog. So we're gonna wrap this up because I'm supposed to. I totally forgot. I promised to clean my mom's car today, and I'm supposed to take it to the mechanics at some point. So it's like, fuck, I totally forgot. Yeah. So yeah. So before I start the top 10 list, I have to say that if you're a Kamen Rider fan, and you're like me, where you've been waiting years, some of us decades, for Kamen Rider to come to the West, you have to understand this is a very niche hobby, and that the sales are gonna be crucial regarding if we're gonna get more of this shit, right? So that means in the minimum that is required of us is that every fucking Kamen Rider series that Shout Factory puts out, we have to buy. Okay? So like right now it's 01, and then next month in September it's Kuga. So that means we have to buy this shit. And it looks like, Canadian wise, it's going to be like 60 something bucks, right? But like, it looks like they're going to add, they're going to, well, 01 included the movie. I don't know if they're including the movie with Kuga, but it looks like that's the price point. And it's a little bit more than what the Ultraman stuff goes for. But when you consider that like a lot of Kamen Rider shows are around the 40 to 50 episode mark, right? And like most like Ultraman series, especially the recent ones, are around the 25. Okay, an extra 10 bucks for like a 50 episode series, you can't really complain. Alright, so it's required of us as Kamen Rider fans in the West to go out and buy this shit, even if the show the show sucks and we hate it, we have to if we want more the good shit to come over. Which my theory is they're gonna do the based off the sales if the shit continues. But I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna do the recent shit and they're gonna alternate between the recent shit and then the older classic series, right? Starting with the 2000s. I think they're it looks like they're skip right now. It looks like they're gonna avoid the Showa era, right, or whatever the first generation of Kamen Rider was, which sucks. But like, you know, we'll get to that. So yeah, I want to say I'm still going to buy 01 and Kuga, even though 01 I didn't even like the first episode, and it was on Tubi, and after 4 episodes I quit it. But you know what? I'm still gonna get it, right? Because I still have to support, you know, the hobby, right? And then also Kuga. I already finished watching Kuga, and I'm still gonna pick that up, right? Because like this shit might not be available for free forever, you know. So number 10 on my list is Kamen Rider 1971, which is the original series featuring Kamen Rider Ichigo and then later on Nido or whatever his name is. And that was 98 episodes. This is the original Kamen Rider series. The plot summary is I'm reading this from Kamen Rider Wiki. Aired from 1971 to 1973 and ran for 98 episodes, making the longest series to date. This series set up many themes that are still used today. The series followed the battles of the first 2 Kamen Riders against Shocker and then later Gel Shocker. They didn't really go into the plot. The professor from Ultraman was a side character in this show. So just want to let you guys know that for you Ultraman fans, right? And yeah, so like for some, this show's available to watch on Tubi, but you know, I thought this show at all. I assumed if 01 was out on Blu-ray that this series would be out as well, and it's not. Which is like, what the fuck? This is the original. And I think the problem is modern Tokusatsu fans, of course, trash the show because of the costume and the effects and whatnot. It's like, shut the fuck up. Go buy it when it comes. Tell them, hey, we want it. Go buy it, please, for fuck's sakes. Right. Next, number 9 is Kamen Rider Amazons, which ran from 2016 to 2017, had 2 seasons at 26 episodes. According to Google, this is a web series? I don't know. This was like a reimagining of Kamen Rider Amazon, which is like the Tarzan Kamen Rider. And he was like, I think it was like the first Kamen Rider not to be bug themed. He's like a lizard, a iguana or something, right? And this reimagining was running at the same time as like Ghost, Kamen Rider Ghost, and it's like an M-rated Kamen Rider, and it's pretty gory, right? The fights were, at least. I don't know if there's nudity. I heard there's nudity. I don't know, man. And yeah, and this show is available to watch on Amazon Prime, apparently, as Amazon Riders. So you can watch this subbed, but I'm saying, you know, I would like, you know, a Blu-ray or something, you know. So next is number 8. Number 8 is Kamen Rider Stronger, which aired in 1975. It's like this is like the 5th Kamen Rider series. Had 39 episodes. This was supposed to be the last Kamen Rider series, apparently. And this series obviously inspired like Kamen Rider Kabuto's design. They have very similar helmets. People trash this one because like I said earlier, the proportions look bad. But I think design-wise, Kamen Rider Stronger is pretty cool design. It's just the proportions of the shoulder pads and the helmet is a bit too big. But that's a problem that a lot of 70s Tokusatsu had, right? So I thought I should put at least 3 older Kamen Rider shows on this list, but you know, there's a lot of Kamen Rider shows I want to watch, so I only put 2, unfortunately. So number 7 is Kamen Rider Black RX, which came out in 1988, 47 episodes. So there's like the sequel series to Kamen Rider Black, which was directed by Keita Emiya. People hate this show, which this show was the basis for Saban's Masked Rider, which that show sucked. But I have some of the toys. But fuck, I could only find the Black RX with toy with the. With no accessories, no motorcycle, and somebody thought the kid who owned it thought it would be cool to cut off the antennas. I guess he was trying to make it look more like fucking Power Rangers, but it's like, then go buy Power Ranger toys, you dumb kids. Fuck. Yeah. I need, and even like there's like I was looking at like Kamen Rider model kits and figures. And even there's like a SIC figure, a SIC figure, Kamen Rider, which SIC figures are like, from what I can guess from the action figures, it's like a toy line where they took like older Kamen Riders and make them look more like grotesque and scary, kind of coolish, like McFarlane style, right? And the SIC figure has the antennas cut off. And his helmet is more in the shape of like a grasshopper. Like, it looks super gross. From the neck to down, it's a cool figure. Head up, it's like a Butterface. Everything but a face, this figure has. Holy shit. But like, yeah, like people trash that Kamen Rider Black RX. From what I've never seen Kamen Rider Black. I've only seen the first couple episodes because that's all I can find available online. But like from what I hear, like the show, the Kamen Rider Black ended in a way that it was not supposed to have a sequel, and then because it was so popular, because I think it was like the first Kamen Rider in like 5 years or some shit. Aside from a special, it was like the first Kamen Rider series in like 6 years. So yeah, it was like they were like, oh, let's make a sequel to that. Alright, which Kamen Rider Black is somewhere on this list, of course. But like, yeah, I still want to watch it. I'm sure it's way better than Masked Rider, that piece of shit. Which, even at a time where I was starved for Kamen Rider content, I still can only watch 2 episodes of Masked Rider. That's how fucking bad Masked Rider was. Kamen Rider Dragon Knight was not that bad. It just had a low budget and bad acting, which the original Ryuki had. Which, if people don't know what Kamen Rider Dragon Knight was, it was basically, they did an adaptation of Kamen Rider Ryuki, and it aired on TV, like on ABC and Jetix. At the time, I didn't watch it because I was too old for this shit. But when I was after I got into Kamen Rider again, thanks to Tokusatsu podcasts like Rather Odd Productions podcast, and Mecha Slash, who's one of my favorite anime reviewers, also really big into Kamen Rider, right? And I tried to, I got into Kamen Rider, and the only shows I could watch were random episodes of the and like movies, and then like the only show you could watch all the episodes of on YouTube was like Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, which is still on YouTube, by the way, but I think some of the episodes are missing. And I even went out and bought the Kamen Rider Dragon Knight game, right? Which Kamen Rider Dragon Knight is not bad. I just hate the ending because it had like a very similar ending to like it reminded me a lot of Gundam Seed Destiny, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that was number 7. Oh fuck. So next is Kamen Rider. For number 6 is Kamen Rider 4s, which came out 2011. Had 48 episodes, and this is like the astronaut space themed Kamen Rider. I don't know much about it other than it's another beetle like Kamen Rider, but he's like his costume is like a fucking spacesuit. So I don't know what the fuck is up with that, but it look, you know, it's they were going for something different, and you have to give it props. And yeah. So yeah, this is like, yeah, it has a space flight motif according to the wiki, and it has like there's a lot of high school bullshit apparently. But like, you know, looks cool, looks interesting. So number 5 is a lot of people's least favorite Kamen Rider show, and that's Kamen Rider Ghosts, which ran in like 2015 to 2016 at 50 episodes. Let me double check it. So yeah, I don't know. I watched the first 6 episodes of Kamen Rider Ghosts, and I thought it was okay. One problem, the reason why I didn't watch more than 6 episodes is because it got taken, the channel got taken down off YouTube. So yeah, yeah. The main reason, there's 2 reasons why I want this show to get released. One, I want to watch it because it's pretty fucking obvious by the design they ripped off Deadpool. Because Deadpool was starting to get popular in Japan because of like a Marvel anime, I forget what it's called, Disc Wars or some shit, and like the Deadpool movie came out. And I know like Deadpool himself, even though he's supposed to be like a parody of Spider-Man and a ripoff of Deathstroke, there's like an old Tokusatsu superhero called Kage-Star, which is like a ninja Tokusatsu superhero, and if you look at its head, it's basically Deadpool's head, but with cartoony eyes, right? And he looks just the head looks just like Deadpool. So it's like, oh my god, they fucking ripped off Kage-Star, which came out in the 80s, right? So people were like, well, how would they have watched it? There was no internet. The anime bootlegs and shit. Because back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, if you were an anime fan, you would watch raw bootlegs of like anime that people would go to go to Japan and make like VCR copies of like anime, and then like mass produce it and then sell it in the West, right? And you know, people would buy this shit, and they would watch it subbed with no, watch it raw with no subs, right? That's how the old school anime fans would watch anime. They would watch bootlegs, right? It was a very rough time to be an anime fan in the 80s and 90s, because even the shit that did get released, you had like bad dubs, you had even worse English subs, and they were mad expensive. People would pay like $70 for a 50-minute like OVA, anime OVA. Like that's how fucked up shit was. So next is Kamen Rider Kabuto, which aired in 2006, 49 episodes. I hate the main character, but I love the Kamen Rider Kabuto design. I'm gonna get a model kit of Kabuto at some point in my life. And yeah, and this is like this is one of the cyberpunk-esque Kamen Riders, and like in the first, I watched the movie, and the movie was post-apocalyptic for some fucking reason. I don't know, but apparently this show, they dubbed it and brought it over in like the mid-2000s, right? And nobody liked it. Well, not mid-2000s, because this show is what, like 2000? Yeah, mid-2000s, and it didn't do well because it was a bad dub or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. This looks cool, and I think Rather Odd Productions said this was one of their favorite Kamen Rider shows. So yeah, for that reason alone, I want to watch it. And then Kamen Rider Kabuto looks cool. So next is Kamen Rider Gaim, which is came out in what is that? 2013, 47 episodes. This is the Fruit Samurai themed Kamen Rider TV show. But like some of the designs look pretty cool. And this was Mecha Slash's favorite Kamen Rider show. That and the next one was according to him, his favorite. Right? And I'm a huge fan of Mecha Slash. He got me into Tokusatsu. So yeah, I want to watch the show. And I watched the first episode on YouTube. Which fuck Toei. Honestly, they put out the first 2 episodes of all the Kamen Rider shows, and it's just like, what the fuck is their game plan, really, with this shit? Is this like test marketing to see if people want, like, these videos get high views, okay? And there's lots of ads, so put out the full series or fuck off. Like, this is bullshit. Alright? I'm pissed off with that shit, man. Or to at least make it available to rent on or whatever, digitally. Fuck, on the YouTube or Google Play Store. Like, fuck, man. Fucking pisses me off. Because, like, you watch the first 2 episodes. Oh, this series is great. I want to watch the whole thing. And it's like, oh, no. We only put up the 2 episodes. Fuck you. Next is Kamen Rider 5s. Came out 2003. 50 episodes. A lot of people talk shit about this show. I don't know why. I watched the first episode. It was really good. Designs are great. Cyberpunk theme. Yeah, the foam bullshit sucks, but what can you do? And this was one of Mecha Slash's favorite Kamen Riders. To quote him, Kamen Rider 5s had the sexiest designs of all time. Right? And it looks cool. Right? And I want to watch it. I saved the best for last. And for number 1, Kamen Rider Black, 1987. 51 episodes. And holy fuck, I watched the first 2 episodes on YouTube. Because you can only watch the first 2 episodes. Unless you can read Portuguese Brazilian, then you can watch the whole show. Which I can't. Fuck! Yeah. The funny... no, I'm not gonna say it, but like, fuck, dude. I really want to... And like, obviously, I want to watch the show because... people say it's one of the best Kamen Rider shows of all time. It's getting a movie sequel / reimagining called Kamen Rider Black Sun, which is coming out soon. It's going to be on Amazon Prime. It's directed and designed by Keita Amiya, one of my favorite Tokusatsu directors of all time. I want to watch the show. You better fucking release it in the West, Shout Factory or Milk Creek, whoever owns this shit, please. Right? And I'm going to buy the model kit. There's a model kit of Kamen Rider Black for like $30 or something. And I'm going to buy it. And yeah. Look forward to that. Maybe I'll do thing where like, yo, you can watch me build it. And the reason, if your people are like, why didn't I put Kamen Rider W or Double or whatever, the Kamen Rider W or Double or whatever it's supposed to be called is getting an anime, So obviously, if it's getting anime, Shout Factory is going to capitalize on it and release the fucking series to the West. They would be retarded not to. So yeah, I'm trying to keep this under an hour. So our next poll for the next Tokusatsu series review is going to be VR Troopers, Super Sentai Jetman, and Mirror Man.